As Nigerians are celebrating that fuel price is dropping, NNPC is dropping, Dangote is dropping. Because of this new Naira for crude oil swap that NNPC suspended, it's likely that fuel will go up again and dollar will increase. Now, you need to listen. Let me explain in details how this will happen.
Ghana is going back to the US dollars. And if this move backfires, their currency will depreciate more than what they experienced in the year 2015 and 2022.
So guys, we are back with another interesting, educative, expository, and most importantly, very intellectual episode. You see, most times there are things that personally catches my interest, and they are things that are really, really weird. Sometimes it might look weird, but that is the way I actually think and I behave, because I am more focused on things that bothers us as citizens, from our leaders to us as citizens. And some of these things are based on how economically well our various countries are doing. As a Nigerian speaking, in case you don't know, I am very concerned about the issues that bothers us as citizens of the country Nigeria, especially when it has to do with the economy, inflation, the fall and rise of our currency. We all know Nigeria uses Naira as Ghana uses Cedis, right? And in today's episode, according to the video, we are definitely going to be reporting based on other people's reactions, opinions. I will be reacting to this video of what it is currently for the economy of the motherland Ghana and as well Nigeria, based on their currency, on the trading or exchange of their mineral resources with their currency. This is definitely going to be a detailed video explaining in details everything that we need to know about what will be the fate and what is the current position of the Ghana currency, and what will definitely be the fate of Ghana currency as to Nigeria as well. Because guys, we need to discuss on things that really matters and will really affect us in one way or the other, whether we like it or not, as citizens of these various countries in the continent of Africa, from West Africa, right? But before we delve into that, I will advise, I will appeal, I will suggest and plead that you kindly hit on the like button, share this video and subscribe if this is your first time here. So with that being said, let's take a look at these video clips and I will come back at the end of the day and react further.
Ghana is going back to the US dollars. And if this move backfires, their currency will depreciate more than what they experienced in the year 2015 and 2022. Why am I saying this? And why is Ghana going back to use the US dollars? Well, let me explain. You remember some years ago, we made a video about how the Bank of Ghana is ditching the US dollars for gold as its reserves.
The Bank of Ghana will soon start purchasing gold from the local market to help shore up its reserves. The move has been described as historic, as it marks the first time the central bank is embarking on domestic gold purchasing.
It therefore marks a significant change in the modus operandi of Bank of Ghana's foreign exchange reserves management operations.
Later, they were using this gold for oil purchases. So instead of selling their gold in dollars and later go buy oil with the dollars, they were exchanging gold for oil directly. See, Ghana's foreign exchange reserves are significantly utilized to import essential commodities driven by domestic demand and industrial needs. And here is a breakdown of the top imported commodities based on 2021 to 2022 data from the Ghana Statistical Service, Bank of Ghana, and ITC Trade Map. Shows that top commodities Ghana spends reserves on are 1. Mineral fuels. Example, refined petroleum, spending about $3.5 billion, representing 26.3% of total imports. 2 is machinery and equipment, $2.8 billion, 21.1%. 3. Food products, example, rice, wheat, poultry, $1.8 billion, 10.5%. 4. Vehicles and transportation equipment, $1.7 billion, and others. Looking at the list, oil imports is costing the country very much and is expensive too. When fuel prices goes up, everything else follows, like transportation, food, electricity, and ultimately causing city depreciation, which translates to inflation. So the Akufo-Addo government thought, what if we use gold instead of dollars to buy oil? Because after all, that's what the country is blessed with. The idea was simple. Ghana Central Bank will buy gold from local miners, pay them in cedis, and then trade the gold for oil. This way, Ghana would reduce its dependence on the US dollars, stabilize the currency, and keep fuel prices under control. And for a while, it seems to work.
Vice President Dr. Baumia is projecting fuel prices to drop at the pumps beginning tomorrow. He's basing this on the gold for oil policy, which he says has already started making impact. The Vice President was speaking at the opening of a new head office for Boston, Accra.
I've been told that next week we are likely to see fuel prices fall again as a result of this policy. Next week, It's not actually, Professor has just said, it's not that far. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow we will see the decline in prices that we are expecting. I mean, this is remarkable. 2.5 months ago, you were at 23 cedis per liter. Today, you are at 12 cedis and falling. That is a good point. But let me note that, let me point out that the most important aspect of the gold for oil policy is not just the reduction in fuel price, but the most important aspect is the savings in foreign exchange that the Bank of Ghana will make as a result of the lower demand for forex to import oil. That saving is huge. We are currently importing about 50 to 60% of our oil imports under this policy. The goal is to move to 100%, and that will be done this year. We will see this done with, and we'll work with the BDCs to make this happen. But the savings in foreign exchange, when we do this, will be an annual saving of around $4.8 billion US dollars every year when we get this done.
But now it's over. When President Mahama won the last elections, he sacked the governor of the Bank of Ghana. So the Ghana's new central bank governor, Johnson Asiama, has suspended the Good for Oil program. So what went wrong? According to Asiama, Ghana's economy is in a better place now. Inflation has dropped, interest rates are higher to control spending, and the cedi is no more collapsing like before. But there is another reason. The Good for Oil program was losing money. According to him, trading good for oil wasn't as smooth as expected. Ghana's central bank had to buy a lot of gold, 65.4 tons in just 1 year, but it wasn't always getting the best value in return. In short, Ghana was losing money on the deal. Asiama didn't reveal the exact losses, but they were big enough for the central bank to stop gold purchases. Now, Ghana is considering creating a gold board to handle future transactions rather than using the central bank. So what happens next? With that good for oil, Ghana is back to paying for fuel the traditional way with US dollars. This means oil prices in the country will depend on how strong the cedi is. The bigger question is, was good for oil a good idea or just a temporary fix for a deeper problem? Ghana's new energy minister, Honorable Abdullahi Jinapo, also has a different plan for the country's energy sector by building a new gas to power plant, and if successful, this will help reduce the amount of oil imports.
From what I am seeing, we immediately have to move into a gas to power era. The liquid fuel bills alone is about 1 billion this year. Half of that can build a gas processing plant. That will save us about 600 million per annum. And so for me, that is something, it's non-negotiable. We have stranded gas. We cannot use the little we have to buy liquid fuel. We must bring that gas processing plant on and cut the cost. That will also cut the corruption and cut the wastage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ghana's economy is still recovering from the 2022 debt crisis. It had to take a $3 billion bailout from the IMF and restructure its debt. The country's central bank even recorded a $3.9 billion loss in 2022 due to bad loans. Now, Ghana is trying to move forward with more stable economic policies. But will the suspension of good for oil make things better or worse?
As Nigerians are celebrating that fuel price is dropping, NNPC is dropping, Dangote is dropping, because of this new Naira for crude oil swap that NNPC suspended, it's likely that fuel will go up again and dollar will increase. Now, you need to listen. Let me explain in details how this will happen. Let me explain. On the 10th of March 2025, the NNPC announced that they will be suspending the Naira for crude oil swap. They agreed 6 months ago with Dangote and other local refineries in Nigeria. And everybody was panicking that why now that everybody is enjoying this competition between NNPC and Dangote? Because Dangote will reduce fuel price and NNPC will reduce. Nigerians were already enjoying that competition because, of course, as they compete, the price will go down and will enjoy. But now that NNPC will be suspending that Naira for crude oil swap, it means that Dangote and other local refineries will have to look for dollar to purchase crude oil. Now, what is the implication? The implication is that every refineries in Nigeria, all local refineries, including Dangote refinery, will have to purchase crude oil with dollar. And they have to change their Naira to dollar so that they can purchase crude oil. And guess what? When all of them start looking for dollar, what happens to dollar? Dollar will become high in demand. And when dollar becomes highly demand in Nigeria, what happens? It will go up and Naira will start crashing. Remember, one of the things that strengthened Naira in the last 6 months in Nigeria was because of this Naira for crude oil swap, because all local refineries in Nigeria were buying crude oil with Naira. So it strengthens Naira and the dollar became less demand in Nigeria. But now that we are going back to dollar again, it means that the Naira will weaken and the dollar will gain more strength. So it's likely that your dollar will actually gain more power against the Naira in the next coming days if this should continue. While all this is happening, NNPC is still importing fuel, even though Dangote have enough fuel that can serve the whole nation. Although Dangote said he has enough fuel, enough products that can serve Nigeria. The question is, why do NNPC still import fuel? As of 2024, NNPC has spent up to $15 trillion in fuel imports, surging to 105%. The question is why? Don't also forget that dollar is the only recognized currency for international crude oil purchase. So that is why maybe NNPC is going back to that dollar. If we're going back to using dollar to purchase crude oil, which is in our land, meaning that our Naira will drop, our Naira will reduce, which I've said earlier. And secondly, inflation will happen. Remember, whenever dollar goes up, it affects every other thing in the country. So transportation, every other thing will increase. And guess what? Fuel price will have to increase because Dangote will have to factor, or other refineries, they will have to factor in the money they spend in exchanging dollar and all that. You know, they will have to factor it in their sales, meaning that the fuel might leave the 860 Naira that it is now back to 900 Naira or maybe 1000 Naira. But don't panic. NNPC is currently considering renewing that agreement with local refineries in Nigeria because according to them, that agreement was meant to last for only 6 months, which it has expired in March 2025. So we are waiting for them to reconsider that agreement again, or maybe they will continue in dollar for crude oil. If they continue in dollar for crude oil, we might be in soup. Dollar will go up, fuel price will go up, and inflation will go up. I hope you understand. Remember, NNPC also dropped an official note explaining all this on their official Twitter handle and other social media handle they operate. Don't panic yet. They might renew the agreement or they might not renew the agreement. But whatever happens, we'll still be Nigerians and who will still purchase fuel at any amount they sell it.
Some Ghanaian trucks were seized in Burkina Faso due to the ban on cereal exports we talked about here a few days ago. Well, there is some good news. Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama has successfully intervened to secure the release of several of these trucks. According to Ghanaian Special Envoy to the Alliance of Sahel States, Larry Bevlo-Latte, Mahama's diplomatic engagement with authorities in Mali and Burkina Faso have led to the release of 23 out of 31 seized trucks with assurance that the remaining 8 will be freed soon. This breakthrough comes amidst Burkina Faso's ongoing ban on cereal exports, which has affected Ghanaian traders. Let's listen to the details from Bevlo-Latte speaking in an interview with Joy News.
Well, it's good that the engagement has started. Yes, they felt that there was quite some mistrust, and I think that we'll have to take it from there because the visit of President Mahama has raised the trust between Ghana and these countries, and I think that in that perspective, Ghana has a big role to play. There were certain things, you know, that were said that which I might not want to reflect to, but we give the impression that, you know, they are very happy that they have at least one president that they can trust.
And that's why many believe that President John Dramani Mahama should now serve as the bridge between the Sahelian states and ECOWAS, and possibly explore bringing these countries back into ECOWAS. Is that far-fetched to achieve?
Let's see how engagement can, you know, shape that. Because as we engage, as we address the grievances that made them leave ECOWAS, if we are able to surmount those grievances, why not? But we have to remember that these countries have made their sovereign decision to leave ECOWAS, and there is no other country that can compel them. You know, we can only discuss the issues and find common ground, you know, which might facilitate, you know, some arrangement by way of coming back or negotiating or a certain relationship. But nobody, in my thinking, nobody is able to compel them after they have made a sovereign decision that they are leaving ECOWAS, that they must come to ECOWAS based on this and that condition.
Well, away from the class action on ECOWAS, we have a country to protect as well. Our interests should also be paramount.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm concerned about what's happening up north, our borders. Terrorism is on the rise. We have socio-economic issues. I want us to split these issues up. Let's start off with food security. Burkina Faso took a decision to ban exports of some grains out of their region for now. Did that come up in the discussions? How are we going to ensure that we still keep that corridor running? Because we need those food producers coming from the north.
Yes. You know, self-preservation is where it all starts. And therefore, like President Mahama said, you know, he was looking at the bilateral relations. And this was the issue of food security was discussed. And I think that has been resolved. You know, there is a common understanding, you know, to ensure the free flow of persons and, you know, goods and services. So I think
so those differences have been ironed out.
President Mahama has, you know, effectively ironed that out, and further discussions between the stakeholders from the two countries will actually, you know, concretize what needs to be done.
Because if that's not settled, we're setting that the effects will be very dire on us.
That's true, and I think that is settled. For instance, there was a situation of some 23 and then 8 trucks of beans that were seized. You know, the 23 trucks have been released, and they have assured President Mahama that the 8 will also be released very soon. You know, the issue of some like share nuts that we import from Burkina. Burkina has, you know, placed a ban on the exportation of share nuts, and that affects us a lot because we have a lot of you know, processing capacity here. That was discussed, and they have come to, you know, a solution of that. So, like I'm saying, the stakeholders will look at it and, you know, get it to actualization.
Guys, from what we have seen, it's self-explanatory and easy to understand that if care is not taken, if these decisions are being adhered to or succumbed to, it might really cause a lot of chaos when it comes to the economy of Nigeria and Ghana. I don't know what you think as a Ghanaian about this, because you are more experienced, knowledgeable than I am as a first-hand citizen of the country. But for me as a Nigerian, living in Nigeria, experiencing Nigeria, I know where we are already coming from. I know where we are at. Even when we thought all is getting better, if this should happen to us in terms of the exchange of dollars for fuel, in purchase of fuel to our mineral resources, is definitely going to be disastrous. I don't think this might definitely sit well with us, and that's why I'm saying we should really, as a people, look into issues like this and raise our voices so that our leaders can really understand how this inflation at the end of the day is affecting us. It is over a long period of time that the Naira has been suffering, yes, based on the fact that the dollar is gaining more value and gaining more strength in the economy of Nigeria. And if this should happen, I doubt. But let's keep our fingers crossed, like the commenters have said. Let's see what will happen, and you know, watch closely, pay attention, because the economy of every country is what makes us whom we are, whether we like it or not. Imagine when you're making money and at the end of the day, the money is going back to the end users based on high inflation, and you have zero to nothing to hold back, even from as little as you get on a daily basis, whether you are a business person, gainfully employed or what or not. The economy plays a very vital role in our lives as individuals, as citizens, and that's why I felt like, okay, let me bring this one here. Let's have this conversation, deliberate on it as adults, matured minds that are civil and well educated and are ready to build, you know, a good and strong economy in our country with the help of our leaders, and also us raising our voices, deliberating and discussing on discussions and topics like this will help a great deal. So let me know, like I said, what you think in the comment section as a Ghanaian, as a Nigerian, or citizen of any country. What is it for you and your country and your economy? Let's talk in the comment section. And once again, a subtle reminder, if you're yet to like this video, please, I beg of you, hit on the like button. And if this is your first time here, do not make it your last. Join this family. Yes, you will like it on here. There are so many interesting videos as well that you can binge on. Go through them, go through this channel, you will find it very interesting. Just subscribe to be a part and parcel of this amiable family of like minds and interests. Exactly. And with that, I would say this is what we have for today. Keeping it real, happy, safe, and blessed. Coming from the stable of Vibe with Chivik, the ambassador of the motherland. Thank you once again for watching, staying through to the end. God bless you. I appreciate, and I will see you in my next one. Ciao, ciao.